Hey, disciples of Jesus, it's Jim McKnight here with the No Place Left Army Network. And I want to share with you a good scriptural basis for the four fields. I've heard a lot of people sharing the four fields, and that's great. But I've been getting a lot of questions lately about what really is the scriptural basis for it and for our multiplication strategy. So I kind of want to share that with you today from this famous passage, Matthew 9:35, and we're ultimately going to go through chapter 10, verse 11. And it says, Jesus went through all the towns and villages, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the good news of the kingdom and healing every disease and sickness. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were harassed and helpless like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Ask the Lord of the harvest, therefore, to send out workers into his harvest field. And then chapter 10, verse 1 says, Jesus called his 12 disciples to him and gave them authority to drive out impure spirits and to heal every disease and sickness. So what we see happening here is Jesus working through four different fields. He's the laborer in the middle, and he goes to an empty field. He shares the gospel there. And as his disciples mature, as people receive teaching, he gathers the 12 together in a team, and ultimately he is the one guiding all of this work. A little more specifically, we can break down that passage and watch Jesus working in each field. First, it says that Jesus went through all the towns and villages in 9:35. So Jesus himself is on the go. As he goes, he's preaching the good news of the kingdom. And I just want to remind everybody that preaching means announcing something to someone that's not necessarily asking to hear it. It's kind of, you're going to tell them anyway because it's so important to you. But the gospel also comes in deed, and he does healing. He heals every disease and sickness. And it says in 9:35 that he goes to the synagogues and he's teaching them. He casts a vision for his disciples, and he tells them that the harvest is plentiful, pointing out all of the people who are harassed and helpless like sheep without a shepherd. And then he tells them to ask the Lord for laborers. And he's teaching them to pray for the things that are on God's heart. And in chapter 10, verse 1, it says that he called his disciples to him. So there's a little bit of a paradox here. He's going, but at the same time, he does make time to call the 12 that he's training back to him so they can get special instruction from him. And when he calls them to himself, he gives them authority to exorcise demons and to heal. And so we see Jesus modeling this. He gives them authority. And then in verses 2-4, we get the names of the 12 apostles. And then Jesus gives this instruction in Matthew 10, verses 5-11. These 12 Jesus sent out with the following instructions. Do not go among the Gentiles or enter any town of the Samaritans. Go rather to the lost sheep of Israel. As you go, proclaim this message. The kingdom of heaven has come near. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons. Freely received, freely give. Do not get any gold or silver or copper to take with you in your belts. No bag for the journey or extra shirt or sandals or a staff, for the worker is worth his keep. Whatever town or village you enter, search there for some worthy person and stay at their house until you leave. And so the instructions that Jesus gives to the 12 almost are exactly the same as what he himself has been doing. First, he tells them to go to the lost sheep of Israel. And go is just the command form of the verb to go, where went is the past tense. Even though the words don't look the same, they're the same word. And then he tells them, as you go, preach this message. And so again, he's telling them to announce the message the same way that he had been announcing the message. And the point here is the message they are to announce is about the kingdom of God or the kingdom of heaven. And then he also gave them authority, and they are supposed to heal people in the same way that he did it. Now, when we get into the grow field, it's a little bit harder to find it in the text where the apostles are instructed to teach or to expect others to pray for laborers. But what we do have here is Jesus says to them, freely you have received, freely give. Now, you might think that Jesus is talking about them giving money, but they are not allowed to take any resources with them. So it's pretty clear that the thing that they are supposed to freely give is the same instruction that they received from him. And then in verse 11, Jesus instructs the apostles, if they find a worthy person, they're supposed to search for a worthy person, and then they are supposed to stay at his house. So this is a little bit counterintuitive. You go and go and go until you find someone who will receive the message, and then the focus becomes training them so that they can reach their whole relational network as well. And as far as giving authority and guiding, we really don't see the apostles give authority away until the book of Acts, until a little bit later. So in this passage, you're not going to quite see it. So hopefully what this is going to do for you is going to give you a condensed passage to show how Jesus worked through all four fields, and then how he instructed his apostles to do almost the exact same thing. So what we see here is that Jesus had an extremely congruent ministry. That is, what he taught and did, he expected his disciples to do the same thing. So practically, in the No Place Left Army Network, here's what we're encouraging people to do. We're asking you to, first of all, begin to get training in the church that we're meeting in our church. We want you to be there so that you can receive instruction and get modeling from the trainer. And that's going to be one of the ways that you're going to learn. You're going to learn by getting trained yourself. But as soon as you learn from us, we want you to immediately begin training other people. It is amazing how much more you will learn and grow as a disciple and become like Jesus if you start to share what you're learning right away. And so it's a great blessing to learn by getting trained and to come to salvation in Jesus Christ. It is a greater blessing to begin to train others and to learn from that experience and become like Jesus that way. But probably the greatest blessing that you're going to receive is when you see the people that you have trained go out and try to do things, and they're coming back, and you're going to learn by coaching them that you train. You can get more information on how we do this in our little video called the 6-Hour Guideline on how to manage your time in your ministry. But this is basically the breakdown that we encourage people to do so that they are receiving modeling and training and then going out and practicing it. And of course, after you practice by going out and training other people, we do want you to come back every week. So in the Mark version of this story, we find out that the apostles came back and reported to Jesus. This is Mark 6, verse 30, that they came back and reported to him everything that they had done. And they get to debrief with Jesus. Just a couple of quick implications. Some of you may have received some really good training, like in an event one time, and you are going out and you are working really hard by trying to train other people and pass this on, but you have lost connectivity with that person that originally trained you. We have options. Email us, search out someone to continue to train you online, or to help try to connect with someone in your area that will continue to train you. Because if you continue to try to learn only by training others, you're going to learn very slowly. You're not going to have anybody coaching you to help you avoid pitfalls mistakes that they've already made. Some of you, though, are in a house church right now, or you're in your church and you're getting trained ostensibly every single week by attending the church that you're in. And what happens there is you can kind of get a fat head because you're getting all this information, and you can develop the attitude that, yeah, if I ever did this, I would go out and do it, but I'm just not doing it right now, and I kind of know it all. But the minute you get out and try to do this on your own, there's going to be so much more learning that happens all of a sudden, and this humble attitude is going to come to you. So if you are kind of one of the disciples out there that's getting tons of training, maybe you're going to 3 or 4 meetings a week where you're getting trained, try to shift that ratio a little bit and get out there and try to pass on what you're learning. It will really help you grow as a disciple yourself. I hope that helped you with a good scriptural basis for the 4 fields and from the book of Matthew. And love to get your comments on this video below, or email me from the website, or reach out anyway to someone else that's training you. Thanks.